Welcome back to the Golden Door Garage, guys. This episode is going to be awesome. Not only did we leave off last time getting ready to cut the firewall, and we're going to get that taken care of, but we also saw how good that turbo and that intake looked and decided we're going to have to dress this thing up a little bit. So that'll be included here too, as well as prepping the fuel system to go in and a little bit of other stuff. Check it out. All right, so Corolla motor ready to come back out real quick. We're gonna pull it out with the tractor again, and then my attention is gonna get turned to this 5.4 4-valve twin turbo Mustang. The joys of working on an old car that sat outside for a long time. Today, I started to tear apart the interior so I could cut the firewall, and there's still ants in this thing. What in the world? Like, we've ripped everything else out of here except one piece that had insulation in it that was against the firewall, and I still have ants. All right, so I've got most of the stuff cleared out, ready to raise the car up, get underneath it, clear anything else that's remaining out, and then I can cut the firewall. Under the hood, you can see everything is gone that was on the firewall. The only thing coming through still is the throttle cable, which we're gonna have to replace with a longer one probably, but it's fine for the moment. And I took the clutch master and brake master cylinder out. The brake one was bad, so I'm glad we are gonna get a new one of those. It was a good choice to go ahead and pull it since the car's been sitting for a while. For the trans tunnel itself, in a minute I'll have this thing up. I can get underneath, kind of mark out where I think I need to cut, and go from there. Inside, I've got everything stripped back, all of the insulation, or well, most of the insulation pulled away. And the only thing I really need to dodge is where the gas pedal mounts. But yeah, let's raise this thing up and see if we can cut a trans tunnel out. Okay, so you saw I pulled everything from on top, pulled everything now underneath, and I'm ready to cut the trans tunnel out. But also, I figured while I'm here, I should go ahead and I went ahead and pulled the rest of the fuel line stuff. I need to get that tank out. It smells horrible now that the fuel lines are open to it, so let's hope it's not full and wish me luck. Perfect. All right, so first option was going to be the air saw to cut the firewall out, and it's not exactly going so smooth. Not only does the air saw jam about every quarter inch, it feels like, but honestly it doesn't have a good blade on it, and it just wants to roam everywhere and not at all follow any sort of a line. I tried again over here. Same results. All I'm doing is hacking this thing up even worse than intended. So I don't know, I guess I'm gonna have to take the car, move the fab table, and drag the car over there, since that's where the plasma cutter's at. All the tires on the Corolla are flat and I can't roll it. So I went ahead, cleared everything out over there, and I was gonna go grab the tractor. But then I remember we have a table. So we'll just drag it over there like this. Hold on, the interior's on fire. You can come with me. It can't be that much, it's actually burning. So we didn't leave very much in here. Ah, it's my gas pedal. Ah, darn it. That looks good. Anti-splatter. One of the things I wanted to keep. Dang it. That didn't go quite as smooth as I had planned. And looking at the interior now, I don't know how this realization didn't hit me before, but it's got all of this, like, you know, sound deadening stuff. It's probably not so good to, like, burn through. I mean, we're going to, don't worry. But, I don't know how I'm going to film this because I'm actually going to cut it from this side. And so I'm probably just going to take the Hypertherm and adjust it to kill and then send it through all this stuff. Wish me luck. There you go, like nothing ever happened. It's just right back on the lift. Everything's good. Well, I got the trans tunnel cut out and the firewall modified the way I want it right now. So I'm going to end up putting the engine back in a little while and then bolting the transmission to it. Then I can take my trans tunnel and the section of firewall that I removed, modify it, and reinstall it accordingly with clearance for the new 4L60E. Next thing I'm going to work on though immediately is stripping down that motor so that Ben and Alan can have at it with the cerakote and powder coat and make it look halfway decent for this car. While they're working on that, I'm probably going to go ahead and detail out some stuff in the engine bay and get it ready so that I can paint the engine bay. And I will also probably start working on getting all of the stuff out of the trunk so that I can go ahead and get that fuel cell mounted where it's going to live. Then I got to build a battery box, run some fuel lines. Obviously there's a lot to go, but well, I went ahead and stripped down my motor a little bit. Working on some customer car stuff. Ben is going to give it the proper cerakote treatment here. Ben hard at work, making all of our engine parts beautiful with cerakote. Okay, while I've got this trans tunnel out, I've been trying to strip some of the sound deadening and coating off of it, and I've found that the best way to do that is get it hot. And it seems to soften right up, and after peeling all of that off, this isn't in too bad a shape. I'm going to square up a little bit of the edge. There was some rust, and the plasma cutter obviously doesn't cut perfectly straight without a guide, but that will be our trans tunnel piece, and it should go back in the car shortly. Okay, so while we're dolling everything up and making it look good, I just couldn't help but keep thinking those stock manifolds were not what I wanted. I could have ordered something, of course, but just so happens that down behind the building, where I've got a couple extra motors, one of them had some old shorty headers. These, so I'm gonna take them and see if we can freshen these up a little bit, and try and put those in as our manifolds. Okay, so Ben has been hard at work. He has got a whole bunch of stuff prepped out that we are going to cerakote and make beautiful to go onto this LS motor and get this thing looking as good as we hope it runs. Been spending a little of my time this week on a customer car. It is, again, like I said, a 5.4 Navigator based motor, twin turbo setup. I'm going to finish up some exhaust and a few other things and get this back on the road. It's actually not been a running, driving car for over 15 years. So we're excited to get this thing together and see what it can do. Well, you know, the plan for this section was going to be to get the motor made all pretty, assemble the really pretty motor, set it in the car, set the transmission in, adjust on the trans tunnel, and detail out the engine bay. But guys, it's not quite gonna come together like that. Bad news. So I was looking and I noticed a lot of weird looking welds and spots in here, and I noticed that the firewall and the inner fenders are different colors. Turns out, upon a little bit further investigation, this car has been crashed hard and put back together using two Corollas. Everything in front of the firewall is not original. They also did a really good job on some of the welds when they cut and attached it right there. That's all been ground out nicely. Lots of little tacks. They sprayed some undercoating on it, but not factory kind of stuff. And there's even a bit of a gap, if we can get it right there, on some of this stuff. So yeah, definitely gonna have to tear into the front end a little bit and grind all this down and weld it back up a little bit more solid, because I want to go fast in this and I don't want to die in it. So we'll see what we can do on the engine, but not looking like the engine bay is going to get detailed out or the firewall is going to go back in quite yet. So obviously not the find that I wanted with the Corolla. So now I've got it all stripped down, fenders off, and this is not what I was hoping for. So I've cleaned up in this area. I'm going to go ahead and weld it solid instead of these half a dozen tacks and this pile of bubble gum or whatever that is that's holding my car together. I'm going to go ahead and get this on the top side all done so it's braced up and it's structural. I'll do inside, work my way down across all of that at the firewall. Then I'm going to probably drop the subframe out of this thing and the suspension so I can get on the inner fender liners, grind them down, fix it, and then finally down here the frame rails on either side of the trans tunnel opening we cut out. So not looking like this is going to be as pretty and as finished as I was wanting it to be right now. So clearly things did not turn out as planned in this episode, and the findings in the front end are definitely going to set us back a little bit. But this is just going to be an opportunity for us to stitch weld the whole front end out and make sure this thing is stronger than we'd ever planned on it being. And we will end on a high note. Check this out. I have the mock-up done from what Ben and Alan did cerakoting the engine, and this thing is insane. That is going to be awesome. We will work on getting some final assembly on this done so that we can put it in, build the exhaust, mount the turbo in the car, and get the transmission set up, but we got to finish working on the front end. So until next time, guys, like and subscribe, and thank you for checking out the Golden Door Garage.